Can I watch it with my sons?
Of course. I mean, it's 2021. I mean, they're okay with seeing somebody's head get chopped off, aren't they?
I think what's okay at my house might not be.
Yes, you're right. It's not the same.
Difference.
It is a difference.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. To each his own. Every house is different. I don't know. My house seems to be a little crazier than others, apparently. Very, very apparently. What's up, everybody? It's Chris Sims Unbuttoned, presented by Under Armour. Paulie Burmeister is in the building today. He is going to be driving the ship. How you doing, big guy?
I'm doing well. You know, I took my youngest to the most recent James Bond, so we've been watching all the James Bond.
Right.
It's not Django-ish.
Right.
But, you know, James is going to sleep with the
Some
beautiful
girls,
woman, of course.
Yes.
There are going to be people getting shot nonstop.
Yes,
so
right.
I've been thinking about you there on the couch.
What were we talking about there with the heads chopped off? That was what, 300.
That was 300.
Yeah. You can watch that. You can watch that. You'll be all right. Right.
It's on the list.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet.
It's worth seeing. I mean, your oldest, it's just bloody, but you'll be okay. It's bloodier than Bond, for sure.
I'm using you as kind of like the bar.
Oh, yeah. So your wife's probably going to love me.
I feel good about my parenting.
Okay. Oh, man. All righty.
Yeah.
Well, you know what time it is. It's the What the F*** Happened podcast. We're going to break it all today. I mean, break it all down today. We're going to break down Kansas City's offense, Patrick Mahomes, big play Bengals. That's what I've been calling them really the last 2 weeks. Bears and Panthers. Well, I mean, you know, listen, there's too much talk around Justin Fields and his development, and is he a bust or is he a star? I mean, we got to make this judgment. It's week 7. We got to figure out what he is forever right now. We'll break into that. The Panthers' offensive struggles, and we got the NBC medical expert Mike Ryan coming in a little bit. Ex-Giants trainer, Jacksonville Jaguars trainer. We're going to talk about Baker, Dak, all of that. So that's exciting.
Yep.
Anything else I'm missing?
We should ask about your hip.
Oh, seriously. My hip. Well, it's getting better.
Before Baker's labrum.
Yeah.
Chris's hip.
Please help me with my hip. It's a serious problem. I mean, it is. But it's actually getting a lot better. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I'm okay. All right. So that's what we got coming up. You know we're going to break some plays down here. But first, I got to tell you how awesome Under Armour is, okay? I need to do that. And that's where we are supported by Under Armour. Just like us, Under Armour wants to give you an edge, and that's what we're doing on this podcast today. Edge in football knowledge. We're going to break down some stuff so you can go back with your friends and be smarter. Under Armour is focused on performing better and taking their game to the next level. Everything from running shoes that propel you forward to hoop shoes that give you insane grip. They can even make hoodies that reflect energy. We're not just about the end result at Under Armour, winning or glory. Under Armour is about the hard work, the dedication, the cycle of training, competing, and recovering. That's right. That's what it's all about. It's about doing your work. Got to do work, got to film study if you want to be able to host a podcast and break things down, all right? That's what I do. Hard work, competing, recovering. We give you advantages, but not shortcuts. The only way is through.
The ad-libbing and the personal connection and the energy.
Thank you.
Throughout this whole thing,
right.
I mean, I think they're getting more than they bargained for.
Well, I try to say that sometimes to the people who do join in, Under Armour or other sponsors in the past, where I go, I mean, no one's going to kiss your ass more as a host than me.
Yeah.
Nobody. And energy.
I wouldn't.
I only have like 2 energies.
There's only one. Okay.
It's 100% full speed or leave me the alone. I don't want to talk to anybody. All right. There's only 2. There's no in between. And unfortunately, my wife through the work week has to see the other side of it. Where
as soon as you get home, do you turn it on, or is it as soon as you get in the car that comes on?
I don't. Oh, so like, well, when I get home, it's more when I get in the car, and then there's just like that moment of like, okay, all right, I'm in the car, here we go. And it just slowly, I start to melt away.
I thought maybe it was like the second you saw your wife.
No, it's not. And usually see my wife, and I try to give like a little fake energy at first, and then I realize I got nothing left in the tank.
It's a good skill to have.
Right.
Yeah.
And then.
Do you sell it well?
No, she at first, when I first really got into the business and was becoming really busy, she would always be like, "What's wrong? You okay?"
Yeah.
And I would be like, "I'm exhausted. I just can't talk anymore. I'm sorry."
Right.
And she's realized it now. And luckily, she's had some friends that are like, "Man, Chris talks a lot during the week. He must not want to talk when he gets home."
Right.
And she's like, "Actually, he doesn't." So
I find it affects more the listening than the talking.
Yeah.
It's hard to be completely engaged and listen, like when you have a big day coming up.
Yeah.
And then everybody's aware of it.
Oh,
like, things have been said for 5 minutes and they're looking at you like,
if I got a big
idea?
See, I don't have to see her in the morning. So that's she's still asleep when I'm leaving for PFT. So, but you're right. I'm kind of that way. I would be that way too if I did have to see her.
Yeah.
Like on Monday when I do the podcast, we'll have breakfast together. and I probably don't hear 7 words she says because I'm thinking about the games and what I might want to say in the pod, and I'm lost in my own thoughts.
Yes.
And when I drive into work, usually on the days for PFT, like I don't listen to the radio. Nothing. I don't want to hear
Game
anything.
Face. You're already kind of locked in.
I'm locked in, and I'm about to talk and raise my energy up, so I'm saving up for whatever we got to do here.
We have like a 10-minute walk to school, to middle school, my wife and I, with our youngest.
Right.
And like today, the second we walked out the door, I'm thinking about, God, Mahomes was really bad. It's been bad for a while. What are the best ways I can frame it to Chris? And holy cow, the Bengals were good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Joe Burrow 3 days later in a smart way. And we're like 3/4 of the way to school by now.
Yeah.
And my wife and my son have been talking the whole time. And there was a silence. I'm like, hey, buddy, you got any tests today?
Yeah.
And then the look is like,
we've
been talking about
it
this the last 5 minutes. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So,
I get that a lot too. That's all right. Comes with the job.
Partners in being rotten fathers and husbands.
Can't do it all. Can't do it all. Okay?
Can't be good at everything. Okay, as for football.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Anytime we're going to have a show that starts with what the happened, and the Chiefs have 3 points still on Sunday,
right,
and Patrick Mahomes is playing the whole game,
right,
I think we have to start there.
Yeah.
So I did spend some time thinking about how to frame this.
Cool.
My best shot is, how the hell did the Chiefs have 3 points?
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes was playing.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, listen, it's an amazement. I mean, of course, it's the first time ever we've seen that happen. And we know Mahomes has not been his best this year. There's no doubt about that. We've broken a few plays down, a few different spots throughout the year where you just go, ooh, stay in the pocket, stay true to your reads. I think like the perfect storm of both of those came together in this game. Okay, as far as him being undisciplined at the quarterback position. And I'm still in shock when I say it out loud. I'm like, am I really talking about Patrick Mahomes, who I think is already in like the greatest quarterbacks ever conversation? And we're saying that. I wish I had something to tell you to go, it was some masterful defensive game plan. Like, whoa. I mean, hey, they're more of a well-coached defense in Tennessee than they have been in the past. But it's the same story we always talk about. Mm-hmm. What do?
Right.
They rushed 4. They dropped 7 or 8 into coverage, and they didn't let up the big play, right? I can't sit here and go, whoa, they played defenses that I've never seen before. No, they mixed it up. There was a lot of, deep zones of cover 4, cover 4 to one side, cover 2 to the other side, deep cover 3 type of things where, again, they know where to look at as far as the formations and what to expect from Kansas City. But I can't sit here and tell you that this was like, the 2018 AFC Championship game, Patriots-Chiefs, where the Patriots brought out a defense that I'd never seen in the history of football. No, it's nothing like that.
And I think we can't act like this thing lives in a vacuum, like it's just one. We have to pay attention to the entire first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, definitely.
And even though it was their fewest points in 9 seasons under Andy Reid, they've had more misses than hits in terms of like living up to their standard.
No doubt.
This year. And so 3 points in one game, you can be like, God, that's amazing. Tennessee's defense must have been incredible.
Right.
Like, I think last year that Rodgers and Green Bay went to Tampa Bay and just sucked the entire game.
Right.
It was one game.
Yeah.
It was one game. There were ones before it and after it that were good.
Yes.
This has to be pointed out because this was the low point.
No doubt.
But it's been kind of going this way all season.
Definitely. I think that's really what it is. I mean, Cleveland week 1 was good. They got off to a slow start, but when it was good. Baltimore was actually pretty good for the most part.
They've had their moments,
and then they had mistakes at the end of the game on that one.
Yeah.
And it seems like really from that point on, it got a little crazy. Like because then the Chargers game was the next week where they lost at home against Los Angeles, and that was I think the first time we broke down some plays where we were like, listen, Mahomes was just off. He missed some plays, and of course, they rebounded in Philadelphia. Buffalo the next week was a little bit of everything. I'm not just going to put it all on Mahomes, but we saw,
But the offense only scored 2 touchdowns.
Exactly right. It wasn't the same performance we've seen from this team or been accustomed to. But then they went to Washington.
We're great.
And we're great. And other than the stupid, fumbled snap interception, Mahomes played the best game of the year. And I went, oh, okay, here we go. Kansas City's got it. He's going to be back disciplined, playing the right way. But then last week, it makes me question everything. So
I think 7 games in, if you took 2 months ago and said, who are the 5 best offenses?
Right.
Who are the 5 best defenses?
Right.
And now you kind of take a look around and say, which one of those 10 groups is the furthest below what we thought they'd be?
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs' offense is probably the one that comes up.
I think so. And again, hey, listen, they're the number 3 offense in football
still good.
But not doing it when they need to be the number 3 offense in football. That's the point. And it's about what's there to be had sometimes. And they, as I've always said, they leave some plays and some moments where you go, what's going on there? And, it just hasn't been as consistent. And then added to that, their defense is back to like it was in 18 and 2017, where they're letting up a lot of big plays and not very good. So that's putting a little bit more pressure on the offense on that side of the ball. And again, I always go into this when you're evaluating teams. It's on Kansas City's offense to fix the problem here. That's where the team is built. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but their left guard and left tackle, I would bet you that's the most expensive left side of the offensive line in football. I mean, Kelsey's top 3 highest paid tight ends. Tyreek Hill's top 3 or 4 wide receivers. Mahomes is the highest. It is on them to make it happen, let alone a second-round pick at center, and other good assets on their offensive line that are helping out. So that's the part of the team that's supposed to carry them, supposed to put the pressure on the other team, like the Dallas Cowboys offense. Let's take that for instance, right?
Yeah.
Their defense ain't that special either. It's towards the bottom 10 in football, but you don't know because the Cowboys offense is constantly executing and playing at such a high level. The defense isn't put in many tough spots.
And they've also improved it a little this year.
Yes.
And I think that matters
That
with
matters
the
too,
judgment,
no
and
doubt.
Kansas City's has gone the other way a
Yes,
little bit.
exactly right.
Okay, how about
100%.
some visual evidence here?
Let's do it.
You ready for it?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Kansas City here, the offense, first quarter, 7:46 left. Still a game. Kansas City down 7-0.
Right.
I think we're going to see second down 9.
Yeah, second down 9, okay? And I'm going to stand up right off the bat here, okay? And what have we talked about all year with Mahomes? More than anything, not staying true to reads. And I know I've said at least 4 or 5 times, just not staying in the pocket. Where are we going? Why are we going here? Well, what's going on here? All right? And we've talked about also, nothing to do with Kansas City, but quarters coverage has come up every week, right? It's more popular in football right now than I think it's been in the last 8-10 years for a lot of different reasons. But quarters coverage is a big play coverage. You can crush it with certain route combinations, and we've seen that. I mean, how many times have we show at least 2-3 plays every week?
Every week we're here talking about big plays against quarters.
All right, so here we go. Right off the bat, here I'm just going to draw the play to start it. We got boom, post route, okay? I think that's, I believe that's McCole Hardman, and he's going to be open, okay? So just take my word for it. We're going to have a deep crossing route. He's going to be open. Just take my word for it. Out here is our big Josh Gordon. I believe that's Josh Gordon. He's going to run an in-cut. He's going to be wide open, all right? It's a 1-2-3 read. It's 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, that's a bad 3. And then whatever, the back on the check down or whoever's going to be underneath, all right? But either way, it's the perfect play against the perfect defense, all right? And here's what I want to watch. Okay, this side, Harold Landry, going to get some pressure, all right? So here we go. Let's start it off. Watch it a little bit. Here comes Harold Landry around the edge. If you look at it quickly, you just go, well, yeah, he's under pressure. He had to move, right? He had to move. Absolutely freaking not. Absolutely freaking not. And I can promise you this is what he's being coached right now. Hey, this is the NFL, first off. This isn't high school football or college football where you do stuff like this, all right? And this is where I go, he needs to start watching some Brady, Dan Marino, Joe Burrow film to watch how to manipulate the pocket like a master. Okay, first off, I want to get to the top of the screen with McCole Hardman. Here, look, what do we got? Flat-footed safety, all right? This play, we're not going to be able to show it all. We don't have all 22 film. He's going to be open, running the post route. You see here, coming across, I believe that's Tyreek, all right? He's, right now, you can already tell, once he clears this guy, there's going to be space over here in this region. Let alone Josh Gordon run the in-cut behind him, there's more space. It's the perfect play. It's the perfect play. And to this picture right here, okay, this is great protection. Look at the damn pocket.
Just step up.
Well, first off, you're never going to be protected. Right, exactly. Step up. You're exactly right. You're never going to be protected, all right? The ball's here. You're never going to be protected when you're 10 yards deep. After, again, those are things that, not all teams talk about it all the time, but I got to think Andy Reid talks about this. Mm-hmm. I know with some of the good coordinators I was with through my career, they always talked about 10 yards deep. You're never going to, the tackle doesn't, he has no chance. I mean, there's never anywhere the defensive lineman has to turn. We talk about bend with edge rushers, right, all the time.
Yeah.
They don't have to bend when you're 10, 11 yards deep. They just go, I can run on that angle to that spot. All right, so we get to this, and, again, it doesn't get any more of, the perfect pocket. He should just step up, stay in his throwing position right there. Look at this. got a freaking wall here. He's got nothing.
Yeah.
He's got nothing. Look at Tyreek Hill. At the very least, you can see, like, oh, yeah, he's going to be open. Chris Sims is right. I'm just telling you, with Patrick Mahomes and McCole Hardman, he's got him beat by a step or two. And I've seen him do this 9 million times where he hits that throw.
So, question.
Yeah.
Do you think that he is turning to run out of the pocket too early because he's suffering from kind of the way it was last year? He wasn't protected well. Or throughout his career, he's been so good at running around and creating that he's just kind of gotten away with it, and I'll get away with it again.
It's a great question, and I think it's both. I think it's a little bit of both. I think last year created some bad habits for him.
Had to.
It does. And then, you know, Florio brought up a point this week that's like the toe, because he knows he's not quite as fast and explosive, and he's just a little off. Is he looking to gain that advantage to get out just a hair quicker? I don't know. Again, I've told you I've got some info that there is some concern about his toe that is not totally 100%. But either way, I think your point is real of the fact that bad habits from last year, because, again, I challenge anybody to go back and watch this last 7 or 8 games of last year. It was pressure every play. So that caused some bad habits. And then, to your point, you're exactly – I mean, he's been magical moving.
Yeah.
So I think he's a little bit like, well, I'll just get out in the move, and I'm Patty Mahomes, and I'm going to make it happen. Big deal. Right. But, you know, there's too many plays being left on the board right now. And my man – who is my man, okay? I mean, this is my guy. This is I'm here at NBC because of proclamations like Patrick Mahomes coming out in the draft, all right? So I love talking about Patty Mahomes. But my man here is too damn good to do this. And my man here right now, Patty Mahomes, is watching the rush too much. He's watching it. He is. And I'm going to show some other plays here in a second where you just go, I don't know what he's looking at. Like, what? Why? I don't know. He's not looking down the field. He is looking at the rush. But either way, this is perfection as far as protection is concerned. And, man, he's making life hard on the man Orlando Brown. I mean, he's doing him no help at all. All right, let's see if we can just glean anything else here as far as, you know, the play itself. I don't think so. I think, you know, we're going to see about what we're going to see here. But here's my point, too. Again, look, we just saw Hill, right? Here he is. He's running on the cross. This guy's running this way. This guy's going to match him. At the very least, he is wide open. I'm just telling you, Patty Mahomes, the first 2 or 3 years, hits that for a touchdown. And that's concerning. Okay, so it's 7-0. It should be 1st and 10, 7-7. Now it's 3rd and whatever, and they don't get the first down and they punt it. And guess what happens? Oh, Derrick Henry and company go 96 yards for a touchdown. Now you're down 14-0. The game in the NFL is that fickle. That's where people are like, whoa, they got their ass kicked. And it's just like, yeah, they got their ass kicked because they didn't execute on 5 plays, and it changes the game.
If he steps up and hits the open crosser there, maybe they score and it's 7-7.
That's what I mean. Or like I would tell you, and I know people, you got to go back and look if you got NFL Game Pass or anything like that. He's got the post route to McCole Hardman too. So the point is, they should at least have a first down and be in field goal range right off the bat. Instead, they're not going to get anything, and it's going to be punt. What is there to be had? That was something that was there to be had.
For sure.
He left it on the field.
There you go. Great point. A great visual there about pocket feel. And stepping up.
If you're watching on TV, you go, well, oh, man, he got a little pressure there. But then, that's where film helps, because I go, what? No, that was great protection.
Yeah, he kind of
I was wrong watching that on real time.
Okay, so as you mentioned, Tennessee went down and scored. So next drive, late in the first quarter, Chiefs now down 14-0, 1st and 10 on their own 36.
Little things. And again, I could have shown, as Pete Dimble I could have shown 8 plays here.
Lots of them.
I could have shown 8. I mean, maybe 9, just to go whatever. I mean, again. All right, this one is not like he missed a huge play downfield, okay? This one, though, 14-0. End of the first quarter. Let's put ourselves in some good positions. Let's get some momentum here, all right? They run a simple play, probably because they're like, man, Patty's not seeing the field real well, so let's do something simple and get him in rhythm. He's just going to run a 6-yard hitch route, what they call, 6-yard curl route for those listening, all right? 6 yards, turn around. All right, 6 yards, turn around up top by DeMarcus Robinson. Travis Kelce, 6 yard, he's got maybe an option, turn around of its zone, whatever. That's the play. There it is. And again, this is not going to be so much about pocket awareness, but this is going to be about like something is off in his head with the mental clock right now. And I want everybody to watch down here. This is the first read, of course. He's wide open. He's wide open. He doesn't even let him
Is that Tyreek?
Tyreek.
Yeah, okay.
He's going to be wide open. Patty doesn't even let him get to the top of the route and turns and looks over here. Like he had already predetermined that they'll cover Tyreek. So I'm just going to get up here. I'm going to give it a quick look and get up here. And that's where you have to play the game. You got to do what the defense tells you to do. You can't do, I think the defense is going to do this, because that's when you get yourself in trouble and you leave plays on the field. So look at the bottom. Anybody here, look at the bottom of the screen. It's backing off. Right now you're just going, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to get a guaranteed 6-8 yards from. Look at this. I mean, what? He's already looking away.
And there's nobody. I mean, the D end is going to run to get underneath, but he's going to be behind it.
He's got no chance.
Yeah.
And this doesn't even do. I mean, listen, the ball is going to be boom right there. He's got no chance of making that play. None.
Right.
Nor is he looking. But he's already gotten off it. I mean, look how he looks at it here. And I'm going to play it in slow-mo. He looks. Tyreek Hill is not even at the top of his route. He's already off of it.
Wow.
And he comes over here. Tennessee has rolled down to a cover 3 little coverage here to bracket him, all right? And there's nothing. And
I
what's
thought
it
at the
end
top
up?
of that play, Chris, that he wasn't even going to look, but he was looking there.
I know.
And saw him and didn't throw it.
Because he listen, I don't know what he did. But all I know is right now he's off. And having played the position a little at a very low level, but being around it my whole life, sometimes you get into little funks like this where you're going, like, they can't really do that against Tyreek Hill, and play that. Like, it's not going to be that easy. Just throw to him. Oh, so I'll look there real quick, and then Kelsey will be open over here. I don't know what else to say, but it's pretty apparent here. As you see, here's the top of the route. Tyreek Hill has 7 yards of space. 7. I mean, at the very least, even if he can't make 1 more yards, you're going to be in 2nd and 4. But we know that's not going to be the case. This guy's got 1, 2, 3 rockets up his ass, okay? And he's going to catch the ball and get a first down, or who knows, make the guy miss and run up the sidelines for 20 yards. But that, again, puts them in a bad spot. Now it's 2nd and 10. And I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but it ends up being they end up punting 2 plays later. It becomes 3rd and 11. They run the ball next play, if I remember correctly, and then they have to punt the ball after that.
And we have one more play to get to, but before we do, a lot of these things that we show and slow down and stop make it look easy, and it's not. One of the easiest things a quarterback can do is have his best receiver, soft corner, nobody underneath, to just stand up and hit him. It's like, don't miss the layups when you're struggling.
That's right.
And that was a potential quarterback layup.
You said the phrase, right? I think I said the phrase, right? And Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and NFL football worlds, they're going, these are gimmies, layups, whatever. We'll take the gimme, we'll take the layup all day long.
Right.
And there you go. So now, again, instead of being in 1st and 10 and down 14-0 or 2nd and 2, and Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy able to call any play they want in the playbook, they try to run the ball a little bit, because first off, when you do stuff like that, they're going, oh, that was the easiest read in our playbook. So now you're scared. You're going, I don't know what to call.
Yeah.
I mean, he's messing up like the first play he ever learned here in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So that's where that's scary, and I can't believe we're saying that. And, of course, the game is easy for him usually compared to you and me.
So Mahomes' 6th consecutive game with at least 1 pick. He had 6 all of last year. This is an interception on the next drive, halfway through 2nd quarter. It's now 17-0, 1st and 10 on their own 25.
Now, like, this one, the guys aren't as egregiously open as all the other plays we've shown so far. But, again, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes here. Like, all-time great already. I don't need to see much more football unless he just continues to play like he has here a few times this year, and then he won't be an all-time great. But I have a hard time believing he'll stay in this funk forever. Here's the play. It's right up here. Tyreek Hill. I think Kelsey runs some sort of short route right here. We got a crosser, and then we got an in-cut. Similar to the first play we showed, right? But instead of the post over the top, they're going to try to get him doing a go route down the sideline. Tyreek Hill, all right, and again, you're not going to be able to see all of this. He's going to release. This guy, it's cover 3, is going to get back here, as you're going to see. But when they get back around here, it's even to Tyreek Hill's pulling away. And I want to go, why wouldn't we throw it to the fastest receiver maybe in the history of football when he's even? And, of course, they're great at this.
Yeah. And
then we're going to see again here, it's going to be good protection. But I want to see if anybody can realize, or see what I see. And it's hard, with these angles. Of course, we're watching, this is the TV angle. But he never looks upfield. You're going to just, everybody, if, you're watching here, watch Mahomes. Tell me if you think he ever really looks upfield. To me, it looks like he's watching the rush around him right now. And this one doesn't do as much justice as an end zone copy of all 22 film right there, so you can't really tell, all right? But for my money, and again, just my experiences, he's got his eyes on these guys, and he's not even looking at Tyreek Hill down the field, okay? And again, I've seen him make way harder degree of difficulty throws and make a completion. It's a straight go route. It's just throw it out there 60 yards, and you're going to get a 60-yard gain and maybe a touchdown. Now, let's continue with the play here. Just never, never gets eyes on anybody, okay? And the crossing route is not open. No, okay? But the in cut I talked about over here is wide open. But I don't know if he ever looks at anybody, let alone he could just throw right here and throw the check down to Travis Kelce.
It is 1st and 10.
It's 1st and 10. Yeah. So, you could do that. Fine. Yeah. But my point to he's not looking down the field and he's watching the rush, to me, is the real thing. To me, from what I saw, and again, it's a little harder to see here because the eyes never really got, the one thing I'm confident in is the eyes never got over here. It was always down the middle. And again, there are people down the middle, but for my money, I don't think he's really looking at them. I think he's looking at these two guys and what's around them, all right? And here he is. Again, I'm just saying, if I was in New England or a Josh McDaniels or John Gruden and it was Tom Brady playing quarterback or Kyle Orton playing quarterback when I was in Denver, if I was with Brian Greasy or Brad Johnson in Tampa, they'd be going, hey, big guy. Gruden be going, hey, big guy. Or, Josh McDaniels stay in the pocket, go through your reads. We got the play. We got, okay, it's the third read's going to be open. You got enough time to get to the third read here. There's no reason to do this. And, again, boom, throws the ball. I'm not, the interception he gets a little unlucky with from this standpoint. The defender is not even looking, so that's why he throws it, okay? He throws it for that reason, but David Long gets his hand up at the last second with his back turned, and it pops in the air.
Yeah.
But the point, again, is, you can't turn down completions and think, well, I'll get another one here later in the play. And that's, to me, where it's just off right now. It's really off, and like I said, I could show another 4 or 5 plays of this type of stuff right here.
And that was, plenty of examples of that. I was talking with Peter on his podcast yesterday, and I said, after thinking about the Chiefs and watching them some, it's got to be one of two things with the fact that their offense has come back to earth a little bit here and then really struggled Sunday. Either all these defenses and the coordinators had spent so much time because they knew, okay, if we're going to get further in the AFC, we've got to find a way to beat Kansas City,
some of that,
which means we have to find a way to slow the offense.
Right.
They've either developed a scheme that's working much better,
yeah,
or Mahomes truly has regressed a little bit, at least in this little chunk of the season.
Yeah.
Based off of the plays you picked there, it seems to be a little bit more on what Patrick is doing or not doing.
Definitely in that game for sure.
In that one game.
Yeah, and I think we can go back to the Chargers game, and I could probably say the same thing for that game.
Yeah.
Has the league caught on to their offense to a degree? Yeah, we've talked about it. So. Yes, they have, for sure. Definitely. But if they just stay true to form and he's patient, like we saw last week against Washington or other games this year, they're still unstoppable. But I've never seen him do some of the stuff he's doing right there. And, he's in a little bit of a funk for sure, and we're going to see if he bounces back this week.
And that's I want to put the Chiefs to bed with that one question. Against the Giants, that game feels a lot different than it did looking at it a month ago.
That game is going to be sneaky.
Yeah,
I think it's sneaky
game,
Monday
right?
night game. Yeah, because the Giants' defense is well coached. They're going to be able to break down some of the things they do schematically. I don't know if they can get pressure on Mahomes consistently and affect them that way.
Yeah.
But they're going to know the scheme and have a plan similar to Vrabel and the other ones to go, you're not going to get these big plays. And then the Giants, if they're healthy on offense, which it's sounding like they might be, of course they're going to be able to move the ball in Kansas City. Everybody can. Greenwich High School can move the ball in Chiefs defense. So that's where, we'll see where that goes.
If the Chiefs could fix one thing, prioritize one thing where this was bad last week and it's going to be better this week, what would that one thing be?
To me, it would just be Patty, stay true to the offense. Let's go back to year 2 and his first year playing of just getting back to the basics here. That would be what I would say. Let's not try to be Magic Mahomes and what I know all those things have made you so great, but right now he's leaving plays and yards within the normal rhythm of the offense on the field way too much. Even for, like again, I'm not sitting here proud to say this about the guy that I think's the man.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was one AFC team with what happened that really ended with a question mark. Let's move to one that's kind of like an exclamation point or two with the Bengals.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. They're kind of hinting around that they were pretty good all season.
Yeah.
And then they go to Baltimore and just put on a clinic in that second half.
Yes.
How to rack up big plays and score points. Let's get a peek at before we get a peek.
Yeah.
What's your impression on why the Bengals are not only winning, but why that offense is producing big play after big play?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I hope people heard me last week. The Bengals aren't going anywhere. I didn't know if they would win or beat the Ravens last week. I didn't know that, but they're a good team. They're here to stay. I think the defense is talented and well coached. All right, so just on that side of the ball, they got big people up front. Pretty good pass rushers. They got 3 linebackers who are athletic and don't have to come off the field a whole lot, so that helps them. And their secondary, I'm a big fan of their secondary. Offensively, I think is what you asked me about, and sorry I didn't get to this point right away.
Oh, good.
The offense has a little of everything to offer, right? They can do a little bit of it all.
They do, yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, I'm just amazed by the offense. But what they do every week is find 2 or 3 ways to create a big play. Or it's just one-on-one, and you're going one-on-one on Jamar Chase on this play? Okay, we'll just take it. He's better than your guy, and Joe's going to put it on the money, and they'll do that. And that's where they got a good blend, let alone Joe will just make a play scrambling or two. So it's like offensive line has gotten better. I think that's the thing. We've kind of seen it get better week by week, and then you got a tight end that's pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. You got 3 receivers who are pretty damn good. Really, 4 receivers that are pretty damn good.
Who's your 4th there?
Well,
because you got Higgins, Boyd, and Jamar.
And then the big guy Tate, and then number 19. He's another one. He's a great 4th receiver to have. And then you got Joe Mixon, who's a star running back.
Underrated.
A star running back. Yeah. And so that's why they're here to stay. And They had answers for Baltimore in this game, and I think that's the coolest thing about it.
I guess. One number here before we get started. 43 plays of 20 yards or more last season, second fewest in the NFL.
Yeah.
They already have 32 this season, top 5 in the NFL. So you make the decision to go receiver instead of left tackle in the draft because you want to be more explosive.
Yeah.
Hey, it's only 7 games,
but
man, oh man.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly right. That's where, I think the old adage of we're going to get bigger and strong. It's not. I don't think in 2021, not anymore. I'd rather just go with the explosive guy. He changes the game more. He helps out the offensive line and the run game in ways that you can't really quantify by just going, do we take the big franchise Hall of Fame left tackle or the Hall of Fame, wide receiver? I understand the thought there and everything like that. And it's easy to say right now, hey, it's easy because Penei Sewell hasn't been great, and Jamar Chase is already one of the 5 best receivers in football. So, yes, but, I'm with you with that conversation.
Okay, you just mentioned that there were a lot of examples of Mahomes and the Chiefs probably not playing very well last weekend.
Right.
I'm going to guess there were a lot of examples of Burrow and the offense playing very well in this game. So let's get to the first one you picked out. And don't forget, this was a close game early. I mean, the end score was a blowout, but the game's tied at 3, first down and 10 in the second quarter. It will eventually end up in a 55-yard touchdown.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, the big thing is here is, again, like I said, they got a little bit of everything. Here's a 3 tight end set with the wide receiver, Joe Mixon, and they do a good job of every week just having 2 or 3. We think we know what you're going to do here, and we're going to dial up something to really screw you over.
And he's under center.
He's under center.
Love it.
Love that.
Yeah.
He's unlike Mahomes, right now, we're talking about, Burrow plays true to form on his reads every play. He is as good in the pocket as anybody in football. I mean, he's a master in the pocket. He is, I always call him, he's some slippery son of a bitch. That's what I always call him. I mean, that's what he is. All right, so let me look at this here. All right, what down was it? Was it
so
second?
we have first and 10.
First and 10. First and 10. Great. Okay.
Tied at 3.
All right, so here we go. Let me just see if I can get to the point I really want to get here and pause this the right way. Okay. All right. So here it is. You're going to see the little fake the speed sweep, right? It's going to fake to Joe Mixon. He's going to roll out just a little bit. It's a controlled rollout, not like a bootleg. And then you're going to have a crossing route. And then with that, here's Uzomah, who's a very good player. Usually with this type of play, the tight end runs a corner route. That's usually how it goes, right? I mean, you've had this play in your offense in some capacity at every level almost.
You got a million ways to get to the 3 levels.
Exactly right. Yeah. 3 levels, right? So he's just going to go, it's usually 1, 2, and then whoever. It could be the back in the flat, or I think it's this guy in the flat here. Or actually, it might be the speed sweep guy in the flat. Excuse me. But you're right. 3-level throw.
Yep.
All right. Baltimore is playing man-to-man. You're seeing he's going to go across. Here goes a corner with him. This is where I know they knew what to expect. First off, Baltimore's really well coached. We talk about sometimes where, on a defense where they're giving up a lot of big plays, we go, wait, you can't ask this guy to play man-to-man on the tight end and then also be responsible for the C or D gap in the run game. Because there's going to be things that it's just not going to be fair and realistic to ask him to do, right? So we just said it's man-to-man, and here's Queen, who's a really good athletic player. He's got him man-to-man. But Wink Martindale is like a smart guy, and the fact that, wait, I can't ask him, to cover him man-to-man, and if they run some play-action fake right at him, of course he's going to run up and fill his gap that he has to fill up. And now we're going to ask him to chase the guy downfield, right? That's not fair. That's not realistic. You're not setting up yourself for success on defense when people do that. So what they asked to do here, because Wink is smart, but Zach Taylor was smarter in this one to go, wait, I think if we get in this formation, I might be able to screw them over. So instead of Uzomah running the corner route like we always see, he's going to run the post route. And you go, well, why would he do that with a single safety there? Well, they know that within this, and if they fake here, Queen's going to go fill his spot. Here comes a tight end across. Now there's nobody to cover him man-to-man. So they ask the safety to cut the crosser is what we would call it, all right? It's a cool idea. It's going to work most of the time, right? And as you'll see here, there we go. And, okay, like I said, right now it's looking just like we said, right? I mean, it's 3 levels. There's the guy in the short. Here comes the crosser. Oh, look, he's going to run this. They look good. And look, you can see the safety is coming down because he's going, wait, this is my rule here. Because Patrick Queen, he can't be right there. He's got to be worried about Joe Mixon, who's damn good. So he's going after him. All right. So now they cut the crosser, as you can see right here. All right. And look at Uzomah. He's kind of looking here. He's leaning. He's leaning Marlon Humphrey. As usual, they put Marlon Humphrey in the toughest position there is possible, which is what he does, and that's why he's way better than any numbers grading system or what people realize. They always put him in the toughest spot. But he's going to go boom and boom, all right, because that safety is left center field to cut this guy off as the crosser because that's what he's been coached to do. And meanwhile, up here at the top, we got Joe B, who's coming out. All right, and he's going, wait, there's a guy coming off the edge here, and he's just great at, oh, wait, let me stop. Let me get back over here where there's a little more protection because I got Ravens defense screwed, and I just need to buy myself a half a second so I can throw this ball up to Uzomah. I mess it up all the time. Great play, great throw, as you could see, right on the money. But, that all goes to Zach Taylor and the offensive coordinator just knowing exactly what they're going to do, and then Burrow and Uzomah finishing it off with a great play.
I'm glad you pointed out how Burrow kind of slid instead of ran out of the pocket, because we just saw an example of a very good quarterback who ran out of the pocket instead of stepped up. And we see the results just on that tiny little thing.
Yep.
And a little bit of self-scouting myself, too, that they normally – maybe they knew, hey, we always run – this 3rd level that way.
No doubt.
We're going to set him up because it's not like Humphrey isn't really good, as you pointed out.
Right.
It's not like Martindale isn't really smart.
Right.
They got one over.
They self-scouted themselves. This is right. Baltimore had self-scouted them and said, wait, this is what they always do. We're going to play it this way.
Humphrey was in his outside hip pocket waiting for him to go that way.
Exactly right. We're going to have the safety cut the crosser. There'll be nothing there. We've seen this on film. I bet you Cincinnati's run that concept the way we first showed it. I bet you a handful of times already the whole year, maybe more than that. So Yes, they're thinking, Baltimore's thinking,
stuff.
we got them screwed over.
Right.
And Cincinnati going, oh, yeah, sure you do.
We shall see.
Yes.
Okay, Jamar Chase goes over 200 yards. We've talked about him already. I need a little Jamar Chase. I think we find it at late second quarter, tied at 10. Second and 10 on the Raven 45.
Yep, all right. And I mean, listen, last week we talked about it like all the time, right? Just as far as like managing the weird looks of Baltimore.
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? And this, to me, was one of the keys to the game, and it's just a great example to show it, first off. Yeah, I mean, with them, Baltimore here, I mean, it's 6 guys at the line of scrimmage. You don't know. You're like, I don't know who's coming, who's dropping. Is this guy going to come and he going to cover him? There's just so many different ways they can do it.
Tight end lined up in the backfield, kind of like a fullback, is so smart to deal with that unknown.
Exactly right, because now what they do with the tight end, this is why I wanted to point this out. He's in this A-gap between the right guard and the center. So now, and I don't know if everybody can see it, but the 2 A-gap guys in the middle here, right? Now the center can take one, the guard can take the down lineman, the left tackle can take the other down lineman, Uzoma can take the other A-gap blitzer if he comes, and now you got 2 linemen on 2 linemen, so they got 6 guys.
And you got the back just waiting there just in case.
Just in case. And some of the crazy
That's
stuff.
great, man.
Hey, just look at, whatever, secondary guys. If you see some crazy safety blitz, hey, we'd like you to help out. Do all that. They were great at this all day. Look, and even the back, Perrine, look at him over here. He's giving a look just to make sure, wait, do I need to help? They're going, hey, look for work a little bit before you check out.
Did they do that a lot?
Yeah, like as far as this as a normal thing?
Not just leaving 7 in, but having that 7th guy, if we can count the tight end as the 7th guy, kind of there just like waiting and watching where you can see the whole thing.
It's when they got the double A looks and if they got similar formations, yes. This is kind of becoming the new thing to stop the double A thing in the NFL with the offenses. It's like stop trying to figure out and guess all this crap.
Right? Yeah.
Let's just put him here. Then we can move our old lineman over there. And then you'll see, I think P. Ryan gets out here eventually after he checks and goes, okay, wait, we got bodies on bodies, we're good. And then, hey, at the top of the screen, of course, we got, Mr. Invincible right now and Jamar Chase, who's just going to, he's almost, I'm just telling you, to this point, I don't care who you are in football anymore. I don't care. There's no corner in football that can cover this guy one-on-one. Nobody. He gives a little shake. He comes inside. He breaks on the in cut. Joe B is protected. And now it's 10-10. And, Joe never flinches in the pocket as to, like, some of the things we talked about. Joe, look, he doesn't look. He's not even looking at the rush. That's part of the reason why he got hurt last year because he's just like, I'll just stand here all day. And if I feel like I got to move, I'll move. Joe throws a freaking dime. Okay, which is important for guys like Jamar Chase because they don't ever have to slow down. And here we go. It's the Jamar Chase. Beep, beep, beep. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it becomes, I don't know what it ended up being, a 30-yard gain or whatever. But here they are.
There it is.
He is so fun to watch. He's my man crush in football right now.
You talking Joe or are you talking Jamar?
Well, Jamar. Yeah. I love Joe, too.
You might like them both.
I do. I like Joe a lot, too.
Yeah.
I do. But, man, Jamar is something else.
So just like I said about Mahomes, that performance didn't live in a vacuum because you have to look at what they did before.
Yeah.
That doesn't live in a vacuum either because I think we have to consider what Justin Herbert did and didn't do on that same field against that same defense last week against the Ravens. I think you said, and I'm paraphrasing, they disguise and trick and kind of make you wonder what's going on at line of scrimmage better than anybody.
Yeah.
Let's look at what Herbert did last week against the blitz. Really struggled, understandably.
Sure.
And then it makes it look like what Burrow did. It makes it look even better.
Yeah.
Considering what Herbert didn't do last week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, I think there's a few things at play here. Hey, Chargers didn't play their best. There's no doubt about that. We know that. I think there's more of a run game to worry about when you play Cincinnati. So that makes things harder on Baltimore to a degree too. And then ultimately the biggest thing is experience. And they know Baltimore. Yeah, Zach Taylor, this is year 3 for him, right? Year 3? Right, yeah, year 3.
Yeah.
So they got some clues on what they do in certain formations and what blitzes they bring in certain personnel sets to where that helps. And now with talent and Joe Burrow being in the second year, and they got 3 interior offensive linemen who are some big that even for a team like Baltimore, they can't move them. And the tackles are playing okay. Again, you're always worried about your division, your teams in your division. So they're building their team worrying about, like, oh, we got to beat Pittsburgh and Baltimore. We got to figure this out. And, of course, they've done their due diligence on figuring out how to pick up some of these crazy blitzes and defensive things they do.
Let's look at the other side of this matchup. Lamar Jackson had an off day. The offense had an off day, especially in the second half. If you look at the last 6 quarters the Ravens played before this, that second half against Indy, where they really came alive and scored a bunch of points, they were really good against the Chargers, and then it just really came to a halt last weekend. Why?
Baltimore's not a great running team. They got some really good concepts that I like. They're not as, and I mean this like statistically, I don't know where they are. They're probably top 5. When I'm talking about running, like, first off, it can't be Lamar Jackson amazing scrambles. That's not running the ball.
Right.
Okay? They had a few good quarterback design runs in this game that help. But, like, I don't know if this is a year where even against the great defenses like years past, you can still go, well, they can just give it to the running back and they're still going to get yards. I don't know if they're not that as good as up front as they've been in years past. And then, of course, Cincinnati's good too.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati with DJ Reader and Ogunjobi in the middle, they're tough. Ogunjobi's big and pretty athletic. DJ Reader is a space eater. You can't move him. And then they got 2 defense ends in Hubbard and Hendrickson who can do everything kind of good. We can play the run good. We rush the passer pretty good. So that's really what helps them out on that side of the ball. But they squashed the running back run game from Baltimore. And that made Baltimore have to go, we're not going to be able to run the ball other than maybe the Lamar Jackson play here and there.
Yeah.
And they forced Baltimore into a total pass game for the most part, and that's where things changed.
They stopped the run. Good job explaining that. So then when they got to the portion of the game where it was our blitz against your blitz pickup, that was when Bengals
there
most
was
of the game.
Win Bengals. This is something that kind of reared its ugly head a little bit in the first half of the game, and I went, oh, I don't. Baltimore's plan against this. Do they have a plan? What is their plan? And I think defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. Oh man,
we'll work
I'm
on
so
it.
bad. It's something
we can
there.
Practice.
He's. I think he realized the same thing I'm saying, where he's just going, wait, I don't know if they got a plan here. Second half, I might dial up these a few times because I didn't like. I liked what I saw. I don't necessarily know if they know exactly what they want to do in those situations, and that's what I want to point out. You know, hey, Lamar made some great throws in this game. He missed a few reads in that. I'm not going to say he played perfect. I'm not sitting here going to defend everything he did, but he made a lot of great throws. I would say there's 2 reads he missed that could have come in like, whoa, they could have maybe got a 20, 30-yard gain here, definitely. But again, what I want to say to people too, sometimes, because the thing is, well, is Lamar going to be able to carry them with his, right arm and all that? Yeah, to a degree, but like, don't expect it to be like an air show and they're going to be like the Chiefs of 2019. That's not what they are. I mean, that's like going, well, the Chiefs aren't throwing the ball good. Why can't they run it like Baltimore then? They're playing pass defense. They should just run it every play and dominate them. No, Baltimore was built to run the ball.
Yeah.
That's what they're built to do. They're not, their ace in the hole is not, we're going to drop back and beat you 50 times a game with the pass.
Right.
They need some element of the run game to help out their pass offense a little bit. They didn't get that. But here we go. Let's show it.
Situation here, third quarter, Baltimore down 2017. They've got 3rd and 8, I think, on their own 34.
Yeah, I mean, and, here, hey, I'd like to see – I don't know what Lamar is exactly looking at, but you're getting an all-out blitz here from the Bengals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, right? 7 guys. This guy kind of just went in to get a guy, get a blocker to pay attention to him and then get out. But – there was no plan. Lamar was a little off on this, whatever. Hey, you see, he could throw it right here. I don't know why he doesn't, all right? And then he's got a guy over here as well. But this is one of the things all game long where, maybe he could have got the ball out of his hands here quick, and Baltimore does a pretty good job of sorting all this out and, like, kind of protecting him. But this happens, I'm going to say, 5 times in the second half where it just seems Lamar and the offense weren't exactly sure where to go with the football, right? And I don't know if it's whatever. He's not coached enough to go, like, we want to go here with the football, or if it's just not enough plan altogether. I don't know. I think what scared him here at the top of the screen, because you can see he's looking at it.
I think he's open what he's looking at.
He is open. I think I don't know if he gets scared with this guy in his face, and this is a corner and a tight end, and he's a little scared that he's going to make a break on the ball. I don't know. Either way, yeah, he doesn't make the great play. I'm not going to sit here and try to defend Lamar here all the way. No, definitely not.
Sometimes, too, I think it's good to throw out and remind people. You and I both did it. He might just not have seen him. He had two linemen in front of him.
Well, I know.
We can see it here. He might not have seen anything.
No doubt.
It's just the way it goes
sometimes. Exactly right. You
right?
might not be able to see it clearly. You're going, wait, I saw. The last frame he might see is like just a little of what we're here. Like, look at 21 at the top of the screen. He might just be going, man, he looks like he's already breaking out a little bit. And I couldn't see it clearly, and I just didn't want to pull the trigger. So now he's on that side, and now it's like, oh, crap, there's a lot of people around me, and he's going to try to look for something else. But the point being still the same. There just was a lot of this in the second half. Baltimore is going to see this until they start to answer it.
Right.
Like, I would be shocked, and Baltimore is on the bye this week. But Minnesota the next week, I would think they're going to dial up some of these plays and just go, I don't know. Let's see if they have answers for this type of defense.
Be smart, too.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good example of kind of, if I can use a term as strong as failure, or what didn't go right for Baltimore. They were only 6 out of 20 converting third and fourth downs. That was a failed third down.
Definitely.
So there were probably a number of situations similar to that.
Yeah, no doubt there is. There's after this, and I think this was, maybe the second or third of the game. The next series, they bring it like 3 or 4 times on that series alone. And Baltimore really has no success on any of them. One time he's about to throw to somebody, I think the ball gets batted down or whatever. But for the most part, it was a little like, whoa, this is flustered Baltimore. Yeah. And they don't know exactly what to do.
I think there's some big picture worry with Kansas City. That's kind of why we addressed those situations, maybe in a little bit more serious fashion. Do you see big picture concern with Baltimore based off of that one game?
I don't see big picture concern. I don't. I'm not going to say that. Again, I just think they're one of those teams in the AFC, like I say with a lot of the top AFC teams. I got questions about a little.
Sure.
The defense is not as dominant as years past. Like we talked about last week, I think Wink Martindale has figured out against a lot of offenses how to kind of put some Band-Aids on some things. Offensive line, hey, Orlando Brown's not there from last year. Ronnie Stanley's hurt again. Right? They got some issues there, so they're not as dominant that way. I know they're 5-2. They're good. Right? They're probably going to be in the playoffs. I don't doubt that. I just don't know if they're like how good. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's where I got questions about. That's where I say the top 5 teams in the NFC, I have like no questions about. The top 5 teams in the AFC, I got a legit question about every one of them.
Nice segue there to the NFC. Let's flip over there. Go down to Tampa, your old town. Bears and the Buccaneers. I got to tell you, Chris, this game was on all afternoon at our house. I was excited to watch it, to see what Brady does.
Sure.
See if Fields is coming along.
Right.
It got to a point where it was so non-competitive. It's kind of a boring game unless you're really into watching Brady stand back there and basically have
just
7 on 7.
You're trying to get 700 touchdown passes in this game.
I mean, this is one of those scores that does reflect how lopsided it was. 38-3.
Yeah.
Buccaneers. Justin Fields, 5 turnovers. How much of that fact and the Bears' struggles are you putting on him, and how much on other parts of the offense?
Well, listen, he needs to play better. There's no doubt about that. Does he hold the ball a little too long at times? Certainly, yes. He made a few errant throws. There's no doubt. I mean, you know my questions about him still. Yep. He's been good. I've been very positive with him. I like what I see. Mm-hmm. Throwing in the tight windows, I still, like I always said, I still want to see more. But, they were totally outclassed in this game. Like, to your point. It was outclassed.
Yeah.
Outclassed.
They had some COVID issues up front without specifics or names, but they were compromised.
No doubt. They were compromised, and they were just compromised on the field. They had no chance with the game plan or anything like that. Yeah. And, again, when you give Brady the ball on the 32-yard line going in to score for the first touchdown, 2 plays, 32 yards, touchdown, 7-0. The next drive, 6 plays, 40 yards, touchdown. Next drive, 5 plays, 35 yards, touchdown. Okay, then they have a 75-yard drive for a touchdown, and then a 10-play, 48-yard drive. They scored 4 touchdowns where they got the ball in Chicago's territory.
Yeah.
Now, Justin Fields, everybody asks me about him every week because I didn't rank him the number 1 or 2 quarterback, so I'm a hater. So everybody, wherever I go to my kids' football program, say, Justin Fields, he won this week. He's good. He's better than you thought.
Yeah.
And then this week it's you might be right about Fields.
Yeah.
We don't know what we are about Fields. Fields has looked good. All I can tell you is he had no chance in this game at all.
None. And there are a number of ways to look at it. I think we've got 3 selected. Let's go first quarter. Chicago down 7-0, facing what we call a manageable 3rd down, 3rd and 5.
Yeah, manageable 3rd down, 3rd and 5. I mean, hey, the first thing I want to say is the play itself, okay? I mean, it's just, when you look at it right here, like where do you want him to throw the ball?
What don't you like here?
Well, I don't like any of it. Yeah. I mean, it's just, to me, the offense, this always goes back to like what I talk about with Chicago. It's just too basic. I never really know what they're trying to be accomplished. It's like Rolodex call the play. Like, I like this play. Let's call it. Why? I don't know. That's where the Rolodex landed. Okay. I mean, all right, you throw it in there. Get killed. Throw it in here. I mean, he's ready to go there. He knows he's passing it off. I mean, I know it looks like he's open right now. That's dicey. And that's Devin White, who has 2 rockets up his ass as a middle linebacker. And then another receiver, and you can see Ross Cockrell's breaking down on him. Here, you got pretty tight coverage. Okay, maybe he could fit it into the perfect throw ever and got 4 yards. Yay. And maybe he could have got 4 yards jamming it in here while also decapitating his wide receiver. Whoop-de-do, okay? So, yeah, I don't like the play, all right? They give him no schematical advantages. Look, so he's going across the board. I mean, like I said, look how it plays. Look how it plays out here with these 3. They're all going to the next guy. They've passed it off. If he tried to fit it into any of those, it's going to be an interception or decapitation. Right, so now, okay, here's the other theme we need to hit on. Lachavious Simmons, the right tackle who had to start because of the COVID issues that he mentioned, he's on JPP. They leave him on an island all game long. Like he's just like, this is the top 5 pick of the draft. We don't ever have to protect this guy ever. They don't do anything for him the whole game. Like, what? Okay, so he pumps fakes. Now he's got to scramble. Of course he does. Nobody's open. What the hell is he going to do? And then he ends up throwing an interception, because here comes Allen Robinson across the screen, all right? And he's just trying to play football. And there he's tripped and falls a little bit. Here he is. Yeah, he made a bad throw. He made a bad throw. He's about to get killed, of course.
Of course,
misses the throw, right. All right, he misses the throw. But when you're playing running for your life football, okay, yeah, he missed the throw either way. But, that's just a disaster of a play from all angles. And that's why, in my opinion, Chicago has the worst offense in football.
Things starting to come apart at this point. Late first quarter, it's now 14-0 Bucks. Another 3rd and 5.
Yep, another 3rd and 5. Here we go. Well, what's the first thing we're going to look at here? First off, hey, I don't know if you know, but Tampa's defensive line has got like $100 million worth of players, and they're all killers.
Yep.
All right? This is Shaq Barrett. Like, we're just going to leave Lachavious Simmons. First game ever starting.
First game ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
Just let him go. Who cares? He'll block him. Oh, okay. That's right. Great. He blocked him on the whiteboard during the week, Coach. He on the whiteboard during the week, they went, look, he's protected. We're good.
You've got a back in perfect position.
And he never even looks.
Doesn't even look at him.
Never even looks. And I don't know. Maybe he's a rookie. Maybe he did mess up.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I never saw all game him do it. So it makes me think that was never coached up. All right. So here we go. 4-man pressure. And listen, just take my word for it, okay? First off, it's like they might as well told Todd Bowles just like, hey, we're going to run this play. He knew what they were going to run. You know me. I'm always into like when they dropped into zones, they just always seem to drop where they wanted to throw the ball. Look, there's 3 guys over here in a bunch. There's already a defense end dropping. This guy's here. He's looking over here. They got it covered. It's glue. Again, better ball security, Justin Fields. Great. Help out your rookie. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
I don't. And they just do nothing, and I've yet to see a quarterback design run package. Why did we draft Justin Fields if we're never going to do it? I don't understand it.
It's a lot of the route concepts that leave you being like, gosh, I don't know. That's not much help for the quarterback
that
you had with Trubisky. But now you have a quarterback who can give you a little bit more. Maybe he can't read it quite as well the early part of his career yet.
Right.
But at least he can move around.
I know.
And they're not even taking advantage of that.
No, and I'm not saying you got to sit here and kill the quarterback and run him 25 times. I'm saying if you give 4 run plays at the defense, it's going to change them. It's going to change the pass rush. It's going to go – the Todd Bowles is going to go, wait, I want to do this defense, but they pulled a guard and Justin Fields got behind it and ran for 20 yards the last time I called that defense. I don't know if I can do it again.
Right.
Chicago gives defenses nothing to think about.
You say 4. I would say 9 or 10.
Well, I hear you. I hear you.
A few more.
I'm with you.
But 4-5 would be a nice start.
So let's just start there. That's what I'm just saying. Let's start at the beginner stage.
Pete has pulled one more. Do you want to see one more?
Yeah, let's go through it. I mean, it's the same theme.
21-0 now instead of 7 or 14. It's now 21-0. Early second down 7.
I know, and they haven't seen the right tackle has been dominating to this point. So don't adjust now. Don't do that now.
We've only had 3 series to see it.
I mean, holy crapola, Batman. So here they are, dropping a guy out. It's a 4-man rush. Hey, we've talked about this every week. This is the new thing in NFL. We're still rushing 4, all right? But, we're gonna make it look like a blitz, and you just don't know where they're gonna come from.
They got Vita Vea sprinting back into coverage.
I mean, he knows. He's like, oh, they told me the route they're gonna run. I'm just gonna get to the right. Now, first, I mean, again, you see the right tackle at the top of the screen. I mean, he's got no chance.
One-on-one.
One-on-one.
Yep.
JPP, again, here we go. Like, sayonara, you're gone. Okay, I mean, JPP's missing fingers, and he's got a hurt hand, and he's still going around them.
Yeah.
All right? Again, this is the other thing, too. They give defensive secondaries and coordinators nothing to think about or ever scare them. Again, here they're gonna ask you, and there's a guy, I believe, out here. It doesn't matter. Look at there's 2 Buck players here, a Buck player here, a Buck player here. I believe there's one out here. It's just like, oh, I mean, what's the reward?
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys breaking off at about 7 yards beyond line of scrimmage.
The most aggressive defense in football gets to play aggressive and come downhill.
Yeah.
Like, don't ever scare them. Just let them come down and just act like they're playing the Franklin Lakes Pee Wee football team all the time and never have fear. They never did anything to back them off all game long. And here it is again. Hey, Justin, can you jam it in here for a 4-yard gain? Like, whoop-de-doo, coach, thanks. And, like, if I'm off target by 3 inches, the ball gets tipped in the air and we get an interception.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know what ast to say. I hate their offense. I hate it.
So kind of putting a bow on this and fast forwarding.
There's no bow on this one.
putting a period on the end of it.
Right.
And but before we move on to the next game,
a
lot of season left.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is going to be their guy.
Yeah.
You've thrown out, maybe run him a little bit more, more aggressive schemes in the passing game.
Yeah.
You think about the word fix in improving. What else comes to mind for this offense?
Again, I'll stay to what I've always said, and we've seen it in some other games. And even in this game, they had a little success running the ball, like in the first half, not when the game was over, to where I want to go like, well, we just came into the game just going, Tampa's run defense is good, and we're just not even going to give it a chance. Like, I understand maybe the Cowboys doing that. They just go, well, we got awesome receivers. We got Dak Prescott. Of course, we're going to throw it. Screw it. We don't even want to mess with it. They don't have that luxury.
Right.
You have to do that a little bit to me to play that game, and I'll go back. I mean, to me, it should be Cleveland Browns, run the ball, I formations, boots, few Lamar Jackson quarterback design runs, few play action passes, take the shot down the field. Simple, but makes the defense defend the whole field. You play to your strengths. You help your rookie quarterback out. They got 2 receivers who could beat one-on-one. Their offensive line is good at run blocking, not so good at pass blocking. I mean, literally, sometimes I go into the games with Chicago and go, are they trying to win, or are they trying to look as bad as possible? I don't understand that game plan at all. Sorry.
Okay, Justin Fields and those Bears take on the 49ers this weekend. Niners coming off a 30-18 loss to Indianapolis. I always love it when we can find something that we can just kind of connect to the show and to Chris, and this certainly counts. Let's go to The Athletic. A mailbag on Shanahan and Sims. Is Shanahan trying to get Lynch fired so Chris Sims can be GM? Ben D would like to know. And then he adds this, but then Shanahan would have to hear incessantly how good Mac Jones is and how he should have picked Jones. Could he stand that? I think that is a fair point to bring up.
Question. He'd definitely have to hear it a little bit, no doubt about it. But, I mean, that's a great, funny question, no doubt about that. But, no, I'm not going to be the GM of the 49ers. Hey, Shanahan is the GM of the 49ers. He's the GM. He's got the last call on all of these. I'm not trying to disrespect John Lynch. Of course, he has the title and is doing a lot of heavy lifting and of course, supplying Shanahan with a lot of information and giving him his opinions and all that. But at the end of the day, Kyle is calling the shots on players through free agency, the draft. It's his call. There's no doubt about that. And, during the season, I don't talk to Kyle much. I know people think like we're nothing. I haven't talked to Kyle since I don't. Like I said, I think early summer. It's the last time I've had a discussion with him, other than a few texts here and there.
He's got a lot of other things taking up his time.
Definitely.
Like figuring out the quarterback situation.
No doubt about it.
He has said that it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy struggled against Indianapolis with the turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's the right call, looking at the rest of the way, to say, Jimmy Garoppolo's my guy, we're going to wait on Trey Lance?
I do. I think it is the right call. Like I said, again, I think Trey Lance, hey, we know he's shown some high-end talent, yes, but it's raw. It was all over the place in the game we saw with throws, decisions, leaving the pocket, endangering himself a little bit like we talked about. So that's where you got to be careful. They've invested in a lot in him. So they can't just go, oh, well, we invested a lot, and, man, the pressure's on us from the fans, and we just got to throw you out there. No. That's when he does get hurt, and now he misses next year, and now it's even worse. So they need to be careful. And again, without Raheem Mostert and their tailbacks being totally 100% what they are, I think they need an element of the pass game. Hey, Shanahan's offense is still really good, all right? I know it's not top 5 in football. Yeah, they've had some injuries. The Mostert thing's huge. It is. People don't really realize it. I could show you a bunch of runs that would be 10 and 15 yards where I go, if that's Raheem Mostert, that's a 60-yard gain. I'm just sorry. He's one of the fastest running backs in football. And, hey, let's go through it. Lions game, they were awesome on offense. Eagles game, okay, they weren't so great. Eagles have we've seen them stymie a few defenses. I know it didn't happen last week against the Las Vegas Raiders. And Jimmy Garoppolo didn't play well in that game, period. Green Bay, got off to a slow start. But the second half, the Green Bay couldn't stop them. They went up and down the field on them. Seattle looked good early, looked really good early, went down the field, scored a touchdown. Then Jimmy threw a dumb interception, went down the field and missed a field goal, an easy field goal. And then Jimmy was hurt, and that changes everything. So Seattle came back and won. Don't blame it on Shanahan on the offense there. You can blame it on Shanahan and DeMeco Ryans in the defense, sure. Arizona, now you're starting a rookie quarterback against the best team in football, Arizona Cardinals. All right, and then last week it was a monsoon.
Yeah.
I'm not panicked about people are trying to crap on Kyle and his offense right now. Now, Kyle's offense is still really, really good. There's no doubt about it. There's some things that haven't worked out, and of course they've had to deal with a few issues that way, but I still think he's really good as a course. I think he's still one of the best game planners in football. One thing I would say, I just think I want to see more misdirection and crazy stuff that we saw in the first drive of the game, the first drive of the fourth quarter where they went down with the bootlegs and just made it happen. To me, that just you can be endless, or it should be endless as far as those type of plays right now, because they need that little advantage right now, because right now there's no George Kittle too. Let's not forget about that. Last I heard, he's kind of good.
Right?
Kind of. So that's where I think people are missing or dropping the ball a little bit, and it's just gotten a little too critical on Shanahan, in my opinion.
And I think also some people want to turn the page to Trey Lance because of all the potential.
Yeah.
But if you pull out there and look at the NFC right now, there are more playoff spots available than there are teams with winning record in the NFC right now.
Right.
Okay, so even though they're not where they want to be,
they're not out of this.
They've seen Jimmy Garoppolo play pretty well a lot of time. They know that last playoff spot, or the second to last one, is within their reach.
Yes.
So, the veteran quarterback is the better play right now.
I agree.
One person's opinion, but to me, that seems fairly clear.
I think it's fairly clear. And the teams in front of them, Minnesota, Atlanta, Chicago, and Carolina, I think San Francisco's more talented than all of them.
Yeah.
Okay? And they got the Bears coming up this weekend. I'm going to pick them to win. We saw them lose only by 7 points against Arizona with a rookie quarterback making his first start. So, okay. I'm not going to say they can't beat Arizona at home 2 weeks from now. The Rams the week after that, hey, there's a lot of common knowledge there. Yeah, they're not as good as the Rams, but who knows? Then they got Jacksonville, Minnesota, and Seattle. Those are teams that they are better than that. I feel very confident in saying that. We'll see if they win. It's the NFL. It's close. We know. But they're not out of this.
Even if Russell Wilson's back, you think they're better?
I think as a full team they are,
yeah.
Yes. But, of course, we know the scary factor he brings to the table with being a magic man himself.
I think you mentioned Carolina there a little bit. It's the last team I want to hit here.
Yeah.
Third team that only scored 3 points this weekend that we're hitting. We had the Chiefs, where I talked about, the Bears we discussed.
Yep.
And now Carolina got beat by the Giants 25-3. I don't know if you can find a quarterback in a team where, the first 3 games, hey,
right,
they're pretty good.
Yeah, right.
A lot better than they were last year.
Uh-huh.
And then since then, it's just been wow, what happened? So what is the deal with the turnaround? Why the drastic change in the Panthers here recently?
Well, I think you can, specifically blame it on the offense, period. I don't think there's any other way to really say that. Again, here, there's 4 games in a row. The Cowboy game, hey, it's tough. You know you're playing Dallas. They got weapons. Their defense didn't play as good as they would like, sure. The offense didn't take advantage of what we already talked about, like a bottom 10 defense in Dallas, and he had some turnovers in the second half that hurt them, let alone some calls in the first half. Next week against Philadelphia, defense was dominant, absolutely dominant in the game. Philly couldn't do anything, but the offense stunk. I mean, they were dominated by Philadelphia's defense on an equal way. Minnesota the next week, same type of thing. I know it says 34-28. It wasn't 34-28. It was a miracle they got 28 points, and Minnesota's defense dominated them for the most part there. And then, of course, last week was a total debacle.
Yes.
Two things. Like, one, I said this the last few weeks, the first three games weren't as good as everybody thinks as far as just the way they played and Sam Darnold played. It wasn't like, oh, wow, I wasn't coming out here going, oh, my God. Like, it was good. It was going, whoa, it's going in the right direction. It's got a chance to be good. But Darnold has not played well, and Joe Brady, people have caught on to the offense. Now, I don't know if it's, hey, I know there's no Christian McCaffrey. That's a big element, no doubt.
Yep.
And I also know, just like as we've talked about a little already today, when your quarterback's messing up like basic stuff, you tend to start to go more conservative because you're like, wait, if he doesn't know the first play we put in the offense and he's messing that up, then how am I going to add more offense and feel comfortable about that?
Right.
You know, you got to put yourself in the offensive coordinator's shoes. So Joe Brady, I'd like to see more, but I can understand him maybe not wanting to put in more too because he's like, I don't trust Sam Darnold right now.
I want to get to the Joe Brady and his scheme and what's not happening there. Let's see a couple of plays here that we're checking in with Sam Darnold from this past weekend and seeing what's not happening.
Yeah, there's a few. Again, I mean, there's more than a few. I mean, again, we cherry-picked it. I mean, hey, we could have shown you the interception, but you've seen the highlights in the interception. Had a post route, probably should have been a touchdown, decides to throw the ball into a mosh pit of giant defenders for some reason. It becomes an interception. All right. Basic play here. Like, doesn't get any more basic. This is day one installation in the NFL. It's slant, it's flat, it's double slant up top, okay?
Against a pretty standard 4-3, some kind of two-deep look.
Some sort of two-deep look. The rules for this play are very simple. There's rules. If it's a two-deep look, you play the double slant up top, okay? Because you basically end up getting 2-on-1 on this guy, okay? So that's the rule of this play. If it's cover 3, there's going to be an extra guy down in here, and now it's going to be hard because they're going to pass it off like we saw Justin Fields with Tampa Bay earlier. It's hard. Now, that's when you want to play the slant flat because you'll be able to kind of, I'll show you in a second, you'll be able to spread out the guy that's down here and put them in a bind that way to where you can find a window for the slant and you make the one guy wrong, all right? I mean, this is as easy as it gets, all right? Here we go. It's too deep. They don't change, right? They don't change. All right, here we go. Look at the linebacker. He's working over here. You got two receivers right here. Boom. It's open. I don't know what else to say. It's open. That's where the ball goes. Both of them are open. All right? Look at how this goes. Slow motion. Okay. He's open. And if he collapses any harder, then he's open. It's easy. Right? I mean, it's easy.
But he's not even looking that way.
He doesn't even look that way.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. That's concerning. Never looks. So it's like, is he really seeing the field the right way? All right? Now, I mean, again, could he have fit this slant in here? Yeah, he probably could have. There's a little, but it's going to be a perfect throw. The linebacker's really working over, right? And this guy is supposed to even be more aggressive to the flat, let alone you got the guy from USC playing corner from Tennessee breaking on the ball. Or Dory Jackson. Sorry, I couldn't come up with the name. But as you can see, I mean, it's just not the preferred play here.
No.
It's not. I mean, anybody with a blind eye can see, well, man, if you hit him running here, whoa, watch out. That could be dangerous, right?
Or the guy behind him.
Or the guy behind him, right.
Yeah.
If it just collapsed too hard and this guy made a play. But either way, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I would just throw the ball to that guy right there and go, wait. At the very worst, even if I throw a ball and he falls down, we're going to get 6 or 7 yards. He doesn't do that. And, of course, that's what happens right there. I mean, the corner on this side, because of where these linebackers are, everything, he knows he doesn't have to follow him inside. So he's just waiting to see. He's waiting to see the corner just to, like, let me just see him make a commitment with his eyes and his body, and I'm going to come down and make the play. Either way, and boom, nothing, right? Okay, so there's that play. Work the wrong side, left yards on the field, concerning for a coordinator because he's going, that's the most basic play in our playbook.
Right.
All right?
Okay, a little more difficult situation now, 3rd and 9 on the Carolina 3, early second quarter. I think it might be the same play that they run?
Same exact play.
Okay.
Same exact play. All right?
So we got quick slants all around and one flat from the tight end underneath.
Here we go. Flat, just like we saw. Slant. Double slant up here. Difference is this time it's cover 3. All right? And let me see if I can get a clearer picture of, so you see, here's a safety here. All right? It's going to drop out. All right? It's single safety. All right? So now this is one where you don't want to throw double slant, right? I mean, you don't want to throw double, you don't want to throw double slant here. Look, they got a guy here as soon as he gets there.
Yeah.
He's there if he goes that way, right? And then, of course, there's a guy outside. It's 3-on-2. This one's easy. Now it's just this guy. It's slant, flat. You make him make a decision. Oh, he sits here and does this and takes away the slant. The flat's going to be wide open. Oh, he drives hard on the flat. Whoa, the slant and Robbie Anderson's going to be wide open. Okay? Jabril Peppers, he kind of sees the slant and he stops. I mean, again, I know it's 3rd and 9, but you get him the ball on rhythm on time.
He's got a chance.
He's going to be able to turn up and maybe get the first down.
Yeah.
Either way, you give your team a little room to punt the ball if you don't get the first down.
Right.
All right? And this, to me, of course, scares the crap out of an offensive coordinator and just shows you that Sam Darnold is not thinking clearly, seeing the field clearly. And really, I wish we would have shown one other play, too, because he has another play earlier in the game to DJ Moore where he's running, they got 3 receivers to the left, and he's running a slant route from the inside of the third. The inside guy, it was more like this. I'm just going to draw it here. It was 3 receivers. This guy ran a shallow cross. He ran kind of out and that way, and this guy just ran a go, and he's got a first down to DJ Moore and maybe a touchdown. And it was a little bit like Mahomes earlier to Tyreek Hill. It's like he just looked there real quick, but he'd already made his mind up. He was going to go somewhere else. And it was like, well, you don't like touchdowns? You don't like first downs? I don't know. But that was the play. That was the read. We should have shown that play, too. I'm an idiot, Pete, for not putting that on there or saying that. I am an idiot.
Pete said, yes, you are.
Yes.
Pete, that was the wrong response. He said, no, you're not.
Damn.
Okay,
yes.
so that's Sam, some of his struggles.
Right.
You mentioned Joe Brady's scheme that in this last month, teams are catching up to him a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you have here?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is, again, this is the one thing where a little predictable. I see repeat concepts. They've already run this play earlier in the game, and the Giants were all over it then too, okay? And here, to me, it's a little bit of like a wasted play because you want this play versus man-to-man coverage. And let me see if I can get all these right here. I mean, it's going to be, okay, Robbie Anderson, turn, okay. You're going to have crossers to try to pick, and you got the tailback running a wheel route, okay? It's a play for man-to-man, all right? That's what it's for. And you can see that then the tight end's going right up the seam, all right? I'm sorry. So I messed that up. Let me just get that right. There, to where am I at here? To Robbie Anderson here, to this guy across, to that right there, okay? There's the play. The point being is, and just kind of just proves the example of, like, and this right here, you're going to go, if I pause it right here, you're going to go, well, people are open. No, they're not. There's people right here. There's people right here. They're so all over this play, it's scary. And I'll try to pause it one more time just to, like, right here. Again, they're passing off these zone coverages. So, I mean, if he threw it here, this guy's going to get crushed. This guy's going to get crushed. You know, he is maybe a little late down the middle, but he was a little late down the middle because he was waiting for guys to clear so he could do it. And guys break on the ball and knock it down, let alone there's 2 guys out here for that wheel route we talked about. Okay? And now I just want to show the other angle that I think does it a little more justice just to show how all over the play they are. Okay? And here we go. I mean, first off, look. There's 5 guys in the screen here all looking at these guys right here. They're all ready to pass it off, all right? And then you got this guy and this guy ready for the wheel route. But my point being is I've been seeing this a little bit the last few weeks where teams are like, they're all over the play in general and ready for the concepts. Yeah. And, again, none of this is open, really. Yeah, okay, maybe he was open. And maybe it's a hair late. You'd like the receiver to catch the ball, But I'm just telling you, when he was first ready to throw the ball and when he maybe is open, look, there's two guys here. He can't throw it yet. So he's got to wait. He's got to wait. Now he's starting to throw it. And here comes the ball. And, of course, now they see it and boom, boom, play. And that's my point.
Yeah.
Again, I know this one's not like, an exact science to break down. You're just going to have to take my word for it.
Well,
I've seen that.
It was an ugly scheme.
That was an ugly scheme against that. It's like a waste of a play.
Correct.
It's a waste of a play. So it's like one where a great offense would go, wait, let's check out of that play. This isn't for that.
Right.
Or you just need to, have checks to get out of those plays, whatever. But either way, there's a little bit of a predictability with some of the play calls, and then Sam Darnold's not playing good. And again, the offensive coordinator could get scared too when he's going, wait, my quarterback's not seeing the field at all. I don't trust it. It's hard to put in new plays and be totally creative that way.
Carolina in Atlanta this weekend. Do you think Darnold and the Panthers get well?
I really thought they would get well the last 2 weeks. I don't know what to – no. To me right now, the thing I'm going to tell you is I don't have faith in that side of the ball for them, and I think it's going to have to be their defense to maybe jumpstart things, make a play, do something. The defense played plenty good the other day.
Right.
I mean, it was 10-3.
It's really the offense, and whether you think it's Brady or Darnold more, what stands out to me is Darnold looks so decisive.
Yes.
The first
early
3 games.
on, I know.
You could say, the competition wasn't that good, and it wasn't, but still, he knew where to go with it.
Right.
Throwing with confidence. He looked like he really jumped up a notch or two. And now it's just, as much as that was an improvement, it's been recently big of a step back.
I know. It is disappointing.
It's like that.
But it's, again, defense played good enough in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Defense played okay against Minnesota. They let up some plays. There's no doubt about it. That was one of their poor performances. I mean, they played good enough in this game. This game was 5-3 with 1 minute left in the third quarter. So the defense, how many stops can they make?
With runners in scoring position.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like the World Series game last night.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly right. So they got to get it fixed, but I can't say that I have a lot of faith in it right now. It's simple as far as the schemes, and there's no Christian McCaffrey, and Sam Darnold's not playing well. I mean, so, yeah, it's going to be I don't know what to say, but I don't have faith in the offense to turn it around quite yet. Atlanta's defense not great. I know that. Maybe that's what can kind of get them going and get them going in the right direction. All right, now it's time for our chief medical expert and longtime friend who's known me since I was a little kid.
That's right.
All right, my man, Mike Ryan, who's got, I don't know, is he like playing like Nerf ball war behind him? What the hell does he hanging up on the wall? But what's up, Mike? How you doing, man?
Those are my rollers.
Oh, those are your rollers. Okay.
He's the foam rolling man.
He's got the rollers and the Theragun there.
Yeah.
So I got it all.
You do got it all. And now we don't have the skeleton behind you anymore. I'm disappointed.
I think it's down below. It's hiding.
Yes,
I knew it.
Boom.
He's got them all down there.
Never leave home without it. Yup, just like American Express, Mike Ryan doesn't leave home without a skeleton.
Color-coded one at that.
Exactly.
Definitely. All right, Mike. So, we got some big injuries across the NFL, of course. Let's hit on Baker Mayfield, right? The shoulder injury. You just tell us about it, lay it all out there, your concerns, everything, and we'll ask some questions probably afterwards.
Okay. Well, Baker, he dislocated his shoulder in week 2, making that tackle after a pick, and tore his labrum, was put into what they call a Simply Stable. It's a harness that basically restricts the range of motion of his shoulder and kind of keeps it in a safer position. 2 weeks ago, he had an injury again. J.J. Watt tackled him. You saw how awkward he landed on that shoulder. Again, the left non-throwing shoulder. Again, dislocated it. There's some concerns there, and there's some reports that there's a fracture also coming off the humerus, which isn't unusual when you start to get a chronic instability of a shoulder. So that's a real concern there. And he said something a few days ago that was real concerning. He said in that last game, when he came back into that game, which was a little surprising with that shoulder, he said he felt it slip out even in a non-contact play.
Ooh.
So what that tells me is that shoulder, again, non-throwing shoulder, so it's easy to kind of brush it off as not a concern, but from a medical perspective, it's a big concern. So when that shoulder gets unstable, torn labrum, multiple dislocations, it starts coming out a lot easier. That's a pretty good sign that you have a very gross instability of that shoulder. And yeah, you can cinch it down with that restrictive harness, but that's a real concern from the safety perspective and also from a performance. We saw that a couple of years ago with Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, right.
He had an issue with his non-throwing shoulder, and you guys know, as two former NFL quarterbacks, that lead shoulder is really important as far as getting that shoulder rotation and affecting the other side. So He said yesterday that he thinks he can play in this weekend's game. I think there's just a lot of variables here from an athletic trainer and physical therapist. There's some real concern because of the instability, because of the potential reports of a fracture involved with that dislocation. I think there's a lot of variables here. And I think sometimes when you get a player that players like to play and they want to get on the field, they want to compete, that's their nature, as you guys know. And I think sometimes this is going to be a real challenge for the Browns medical staff to say, hey, how do we protect him and keep that shoulder stable and start that healing process so we don't start down the road? Because eventually when these shoulders start having that excess motion, we had that here in Jacksonville with Blaine Gabbert. Work with him having shoulder labral surgery on the non-throwing shoulder.
Right.
And I know how challenging that is to both play with that injury and to recover from that surgery. So there's a lot of variables here that they're going to have to get a good handle on it, really kind of protect the player, because you don't want this getting worse. And there may be a variable here that he has to get this stronger, somehow get more stability, because that labrum will not heal. The labrum, if it's torn, it's torn.
Right.
So
right.
There's a lot to think about with this injury for Baker Mayfield.
And we're not even through the October games, Mike. I mean, we're not even halfway through the season. A lot of football left to be played, and you're right. Players want to play. Baker's a tough guy. But that aside, do you see a scenario here where he makes it through the season without having surgery first?
Yeah, it's doable. But when you get something like this that's chronic, especially something that has instability, you're putting extra wear and tear on that joint. So it's one of those things, could you and should you? It's a small spelling change between the two, but that's an important question that you have to answer now. If not, you pay the price down the road. So it's doable, but at what cost, Paul? I think is a question that both Baker, his agent, and everybody associated with him have to answer that question.
Mike, explain the humerus, right? What that is exactly, that the fracture there, just so everybody out there can understand that.
Well, again, there's reports of it. Dr. Glazer reported as a fracture off the humerus. So I think we have to wait to see something official from the team. But this being the shoulder, this is the right shoulder. Obviously, his injury was the left shoulder. Collarbone in the front, shoulder blade in the back, and the humerus is the upper arm bone.
Gotcha.
So obviously where the upper arm bone attaches to the shoulder blade makes up the shoulder joint. So it's not unusual to get a fracture on the top side where part of that rotator cuff anchors into that humerus bone. And again, I like to read what the players are saying and kind of decipher that, having those conversations for 26 years with NFL players. And he said something where because of that fracture, his rotator cuff doesn't fire. He said that a couple days after that game. And what that tells me is where that reported fracture is located, where you put a lot of pressure on it with that rotator cuff. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know when you're pulling on a piece of bone that has instability and has some extra motion, it causes pain, and the body's going to want to shut that down to protect itself. So rotator cuff not firing the way it should, which isn't unusual because of a fracture. This is a shoulder that's very much out of sync.
Yeah.
It sounds like it would be surprising if he made it through the rest of the season.
Well, yeah, that's why I want to go, Mike. Like, what's your gut?
Three different injuries.
Again, I know I'm not trying to, get, put you on the spot here, but just your experience here with this type of stuff.
Well, I can tell you this. On average in the NFL, we would get, at least with the Jaguars and my time before that with the Giants, is on average we get between 2 and 4 players with labral tears throughout the year.
Right.
And on average, 1, maybe 2 of them would need surgery. So it's not a slam dunk to say you have a labral tear, you got to get a repair, like an ACL or torn Achilles. Those are no-brainers.
Yeah.
Well, when you get a torn labrum, if you limit the range of motion of the shoulder, protect the shoulder, have great strength of the rotator cuff, your mechanics are right, limitations in the weight room, obviously doesn't have contact during the week as a quarterback. So it is doable. This isn't something that's far-fetched.
Right.
I think the way I look at this is I really want to know a lot more about that location of the fracture and the instability of that fracture. I think that's really the driving force here, where if it's unstable and it needs more time to heal, continue to play with it, guys, that fracture is not going to heal faster. It's going to slow things down. So you're dragging things out, and maybe a period of time, you throw them on IR, you shut it down for a period, let things quiet down, let that, as we like to say in the business, let that fracture get sticky, and then reevaluate. Does his rotator cuff strength come back to 90%, or does it hover in that 50, 60%?
Right.
I think those are the variables you can look at this, shut this down, where the risk is, you got to look at these things and say, what's the risk and what's the reward? And I think balancing those two, especially with a star quarterback, you got a big contract coming up. He's got a long career ahead of him. So these are some of the things you have to answer now and not get caught up in the competitive nature of the player that says, I want to get my tail out there and compete and take care of my players and do what I can do to help this team win.
Yep. All right.
Sometimes you got to jump on that hand grenade and take care of the player.
Yeah,
right.
I hear you that way. All right, I'm going to be interested to see how that plays out.
Right?
I mean, definitely.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. I mean, definitely.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so let's go on to the next big one. I mean, Sunday Night Football, we got Cowboys-Vikings on NBC. Dak Prescott, the calf injury, reported yesterday that he's out of the walking boot. What's your concern level there?
The concern there is it hasn't been tested, which is a good thing because it happened literally the last play of the game, week 6. Last week he had a bye week, so he was able to just kind of chill, let it rest. That's obviously a great sign. But this is something where during this week they're going to have to kind of push it a little bit, see how it feels, more so probably later in the week, and I think get a feel for how that calf is kind of managing what he's doing.
Right. All right. I mean, I know. I'm another one. I just like. Great, he's out of the boot, but
right. Jerry Jones is very optimistic.
Yeah, right. Is he going to be able to push off or scramble out of the pocket if he really has to? Just my experience being around it, that's the scary thing that you're referring to, pretty much.
Right.
Exactly. And as you notice, Jerry's always enthusiastic. He's always optimistic about his guys. And one thing that they did after this injury is they did an MRI because the calf muscle, as you know, Chris, we talked last year when you strained your calf.
Yeah, right.
Calves are very fickle. We got a handful of people in the NFL, and Jimmy Garoppolo included, that have come back from calf strains, and it's not an easy task. They did an MRI on his calf, and the two muscles, the gastroc is the big one on the outside that you see that goes up over the knee joint, and then there's a more shallow one closer to the bone called the soleus. So they both kind of work together, and they combine together to form the Achilles. In his case, with the MRI, it showed a tear in the gastroc, which is the bigger of the two muscles. So as he pushes off in that power move, it's his right leg. Right calf as a right-handed quarterback, as you guys know, there's a lot of power and drive coming out of that lower leg.
Right.
He did have the dislocation fracture on the same right ankle
side.
last year.
Yeah.
I don't see that as a factor. I think that's a resolved injury. It's done well. I don't think that's a contributing factor to this calf strain, both creating the injury and going forward.
Yep. Okay.
There will be a test after the pod on how the lower extremities come together.
Yeah.
Chris,
well, good luck. I'll fail it.
Did you get that one?
I didn't know. I need to rewatch Mike talk again, and then I could get it right for sure.
A lot happening with the calf. Hey, we've talked quite a bit about Patrick Mahomes and some of the struggles he's had on the field here recently, Mike. I'd like to get your thoughts on just kind of what we saw late in the game. He went down, checked for a concussion, needed help getting off the field. He was not put in concussion protocol. I think a lot of fans look at that scene and thought, that's strange. What did you think?
Yeah. Well, when you look at it, there's two ways that I look at the fact that the bad part of this is Jeffrey Simmons hit him right in the face with his knee and his thigh. And if there's one area in the helmet that you don't want to get hit on because it has less protection, is a face mask. There's no shock absorption to it compared to other parts of the helmet. And when you feel these helmets, they have a lot of flexibility and absorption, so to speak, to dissipate that pressure away from the head. When you get hit in the face mask, it's a metal frame with a little rubber over it, so all that force goes into the head.
Right.
So that was a bad place to take a shot, and it doesn't happen too often. But this is really going to surprise you is the good news, if you're going to get your head driven in an extreme direction, the safest way is get it put into extension.
Yeah, okay.
So as ugly as that looked,
right.
When your head gets driven to a lot of extension, the pressure goes forward in the spine, and there's not a lot of real important stuff up there compared to the spine and the nerves in the backside.
Gotcha.
So it looked ugly from a TV perspective, but that's a better direction for him to take that shot. The good news, he's only had a history of only one of the concussions. I think it was 2016 in college. So there's not a big concussion history there. They brought him to the sideline, put him through the concussion protocol, and he passed. It was cleared. It was late in the game, so he didn't have a reason to go back because of the score didn't help as well. And one of the good indications with that, guys, is the fact that he wasn't in concussion protocol. And Rick Burkholder, the head athletic trainer there, is really thorough and does a really good job when it comes to those. So that's obviously a good plus on his side. But another thing that really gave you good kind of peace of mind on that whole concussion issue and that he didn't develop symptoms after the game when he got in the locker room is they allowed him to talk to the press.
No doubt about it. Didn't show any
because
effects.
In the NFL, they won't let players who are concussed talk to the media. So it kind of takes these guys with any kind of concussion symptom and it really puts them in a bubble in a hurry. So the fact he could speak after the game, talk to the media, he said he had recognition of the play, so there wasn't a loss of consciousness or memory.
Okay.
So I think all those are very encouraging.
All right, good. I do want to point out that I do think he got a concussion last year in the divisional playoff game against the Cleveland Browns, right? I do want to.
I think you're right.
All right, good. It's the only time in my life I'm going to be correcting Mike Ryan on anything medical, but I got him there. I got him there. Boom. One for me. Wait, but here's one more thing I just wanted to ask about this.
Yeah.
Like, it almost was like I wondered, and just your thought on this, like, you see boxers sometimes get hit right on the chin, right? Yeah. And it's not necessarily that their like head was like, whoa, bash. It's just that the cutting off of the circulation to the brain real quick. Like, is that a possibility to make you a little wobbly with the head in that position? It's just something that crossed my mind.
It could, because remember with the new 4-point chin straps.
Yeah.
The ones that anchor in the bottom, they come on the bottom of the chin, and the ones under the chin go to the top of the helmet. So when you get that helmet driven straight back from the face mask, that jaw is driven back into the skull. So that's a whole nother level of trauma to the skull coming from below.
Gotcha.
So that can create a little bit of that wooziness. Like you referenced, Chris, in boxing, you see some guys take a shot, and you ever see when they get the rotation and the rotatory come on, and you see they kind of have this puzzled look on their face as their knees buckle. And they're like, what's really going on downstairs?
Right.
Because that rotatory component of the brain stem, where the lower brain attaches to the spinal cord, when that happens, coordination goes out very quickly.
Gotcha.
So that can create a little bit of that wooziness there. And obviously that merits going through a full concussion protocol and evaluation to see if that is a balance, got the wind knocked out of me kind of thing, or if it truly is a concussed element involving the brain.
Right. Okay.
Wonderful example, Mike, of how like we as fans, maybe educated fans, we don't know what we don't know. All I know is that didn't look very good, and that explanation helped clear it up a lot.
Yeah.
So very well done.
No doubt. No doubt.
I think we have one more.
Yeah, let's go. Hit it.
Russell Wilson's got the fractured dislocation on his finger. I believe it's the middle finger there on his throwing hand. So I don't want you to guess on when he might be back. Knowing him, he'll probably be back sometime soon. What would you be doing to help him get out there, to help a quarterback get out there who's got that part of a finger that's very important, who needs to throw the ball? How do you help him get back out there?
Well, you got to work things around the finger. Working on the rotator cuff, his flexibility, and we all know the kind of work ethics that Russell has. And it's really unusual to look at a Seattle roster and to see him on the injury reserve. It's something he hasn't done. He had a really bad knee injury, had a bad high ankle sprain, and didn't miss a game. So he's a working machine with what's there. So the issue he had with the fracture, the dislocation fracture, that middle finger, the middle joint, if you will.
Yeah. They
put 3 screws in it. So that's a good thing because it holds it with some fractures there. The screws really hold things together and allow you to be much more aggressive on the range. And that first week, Russell was talking to Michelle Tafoya for Sunday Night Football, and he was saying they wanted him to get about 10 degrees of flexion that first week. He got 75.
Right.
That's Russell. The real trick here, guys, with what happens and when he gets back on the field is what happened in the distal joint.
Yeah, that's the weird one.
Fingernail.
Right.
What they did with that, and I've had a couple of those injuries as well, and you tear the extensor hood and you get that what they call a mallet finger, where you can't straighten out that finger because of the tear in the tendon.
Right.
So what they do is they put a screw, actually a pin, right through the joint.
Wow.
So it just basically keeps it straight and you cannot bend it.
Yeah.
So it allows them to sew up the top here, tighten up that tendon, and give it time to heal, because every time you bend it, you re-tear it.
Yeah.
The reports are he's going to get that pin out sometime this week, which will be this Friday, will be 3 weeks post surgery. That's about the right time. You look at 3 to 4 weeks on that, and maybe an extra week just to be safe on it. So ultimately, where he had the fracture and the dislocation, in my opinion, that's not going to really dictate when he gets back on the field. It's what happens in that little joint right behind the fingernail.
Gotcha.
So I think when he gets the strength on that, because it's a risk factor. When you grab a football and you bend it, you're stretching that tendon that they sewed up.
Yeah.
Typically with that, if you don't do surgery, you keep that straight and you give it 6 weeks to heal. Now, if he wants to get back, there's some rumors he wants to get back for week 10. That's only 5 weeks. That's a week short of what you normally would. The aggressive nature of the pin might help you buy an extra week. But one of the things that can come into play, and you might laugh at this, but he was injured on a Thursday night game, not a Sunday game.
Yeah.
So he got injured Thursday night. He was on a plane, I believe it was 8 o'clock the next morning, had surgery the next day.
Right.
So that gives him a couple extra days. Those 2 extra days when it comes to Russell Wilson and his work ethics and the kind of effort he puts into it, those extra 2 days could buy him a week early getting back on the field.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I'm grabbing the football here.
Well, yeah.
That middle finger
is crucial.
It is bent there at the top. Like this finger here, which I think is the most important one, that one is more straight. That middle finger bends at that top knuckle. So, I mean, there's really no way around that.
And to add to it,
you can't tape it.
No, you can't tape it. When he did it on Thursday night, all right, against the Rams, like Mike mentioned, if anybody goes back and watch the telecast, the first few times he gripped the ball like that, his middle finger collapsed the other way. And that's when I went, oh, no, it's that joint. Yeah. That's crazy because, of course, that is your middle finger is definitely one of the fingers you grip down pretty hard on to have control of the football. Yeah. And it looked like he lost that. But, yeah, I mean, Mike, you said it right. Russell Wilson he drinks healing water and a bunch of other stuff and got great work ethic. So he probably will be back quicker than expected.
Exactly. The other challenge with this, too, is the mindset of the follow-through.
Yeah,
right. That's how he got hurt, and you got guys running out, and you're throwing your hands going into that danger zone, so to speak. And you don't put it past defensive players to take a swing at that hand as well. So it becomes a big floating target that you follow the ball, you follow the hand.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a mental hurdle to get over that, because when it comes to Sunday games, you're not wearing that little red jersey where you can have a nice little safe bubble.
No doubt about it. No doubt. Well said. They're getting to that. We might see that in the NFL before it's all said and done here in the next decade. Just don't even hit the quarterbacks anymore. Forget it.
Exactly. Give it a little safety bubble there.
Right.
15-yard penalty.
Middle fingers, humerus bones, how the calf comes together. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground there.
Yeah, we did.
We touch it all. And a question for you guys: if they come up with that little safety bubble, will we see you guys put the helmet back on and make a big grand return?
Nope, absolutely not. Not even the bubble is going to be able to protect either one of us.
With the bubble, Mike, yes. This side of the table, if I had the bubble, I could do it. Yes, let's work on that.
Okay, we'll see.
I want to work that game.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Mike, you the man. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate the information.
Guys. Always a lot of fun.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, pal.
Have a great week.
You too, buddy.
You too.
See ya. There you go. That's the man, Mike Ryan. I mean, I love Mike. He did a great job, and I think he just gives us a good perspective. If you're a fan and you want information, whether you're gambling and using PointsBet or whatever, hey, there's some information to know how things might unfold for Baker, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson in the future.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes from there.
Truly, no BS, and truly learn multiple things every time that guy comes on.
Yeah.
Every time Mike comes on.
Mike's the man. Yeah. He's the man. He's always keeping me up to date. Like Sunday night, he texts me almost every week. Yeah. Just to go like, hey, these injuries happen. They're big. Let me know if you guys want me in the podcast, right? So he's great that way.
And his human body prop game is fantastic. I mean, he just hold on a second. He just come up with something
ready. He's
from
definitely
under the table. Yeah.
No doubt.
Always good.
All right, that's it. We did it. We did a podcast. Look at that. Me and Paul. We've never done one before.
Wow.
Oh,
finally.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And we did it.
Yeah.
Hope everybody enjoyed it. This was the Chris Sims Unbuttoned What the F*** Happened podcast presented by Under Armour. Always a big thanks to Under Armour. Paulie B, you the man.
There's a show. That's a show.
There's a show. That's a show. You are the man. And we got through it. And, whoa, he didn't even take a pee break. Woo!
I know.
We're on fire today.
We're on a nice run there.
Nice run. Nice run. I think. I don't know. I'm not sure about challenge flag on that, okay? Challenge.
I think we have multiple shows in a row. We're on a streak. Yeah. We are approchring Pete Rose
We'll go back
territory.
and look at the tape, and we'll see there. We'll reevaluate.
Games in a row.
All right, everybody. Be good. Keep sending the questions. Check out PFT PM, Chris Sims Unbuttoned Picks podcast on Thursday. It's the Picks collaboration with Smart Chris Sims and Dumb Mike Florio. Peace out. That. See you guys later.
That's new editorializing.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.